Yes, I have some good news and some bad news, but let me start with the good news. Yeah, let me start with the good news. The good news is that our brother Selector Davie, our comrade, has been released from Muwonge military barracks, where he was arrested together with very many others. Yeah, remember, some thought he had been murdered because very few who are kidnapped in that manner come back alive, you know. So the president today has confirmed his release, and actually he came out and put up something on his Facebook account. Kyagulanyi Ssentamu Robert aka Bobiwine said, "Many thanks to all of you fellow Ugandans for mounting pressure and relentlessly demanding for the release of Selector Davie, dead or alive. He was today removed from the illegal detention in Muwonge military barracks, where he and hundreds of other NUP stroke People Power supporters have been held in a communicado. He was abducted from his home in Magere by soldiers on 12th January, and he tells a grave torture visited on him and other detainees. He was paraded before the Bombo Court Martial this afternoon and released on bail in a very worrying health condition. Please continue demanding for the unconditional release of all political prisoners. We are removing a dictator." That has been the statement from our president-elect Kyagulanyi Ssentamu Robert aka Bobiwine. Actually, he came out that day when our brother was abducted. That was on the 12th, and he said, this is what Bobiwine said when he was highlighting the illegal arrest and the actual kidnap of our brother. He said, "Last night at around 12 a.m. a group of security operatives wearing army uniform and some in plain clothes raided the home of our comrade Davie aka Selector Davie, and according to his neighbors and other witnesses, these security operatives who traveled in 2 drones fired live bullets in the air before dragging him out of his house. They say he was beaten mercilessly and taken to unknown place. Reports of raids on many other homes of NUP supporters keep coming in, and we are aware this is being done by state operatives who are using several security agencies. Our legal team has been looking for Davie at various police stations to no avail." So that was then, but now the good news is that he has been released. But the bad news, look at how our brother looks like. Here he is. Just look at him. Just look at him. So sad, man. So that's the bad news. He was tortured, just like Kyagulanyi Ssentamu Robert. He has highlighted in his post that he was abducted from his home in Magereba, and he tells a sad story, the torture that was meted at him. Very many of our comrades are there in detention centers. Remember the team that involves Eddie Mutwe, Nubian Lee, our brother Kalema of Ghetto Media, Bobby Young, Chuma Chayesu, very many other comrades, journalists, nurses, those ones that were giving first aid to our comrades who would get injured and all that kind of thing during the campaign trail. The likes of Joy Strong, Shakila Nambozo, man, all of them are still held in a communicado. They are not allowed to talk to anyone. They are still detained, they are rotting in jail, and we need to amplify our voices for their immediate release. Just like the president has said, that please continue demanding for the unconditional release of all political prisoners. So this is what we can do for our brothers, to keep demanding for their immediate release, because they did not commit any crime. These Museveni militia groups come to homes of our comrades, kidnap them, drag them in their cars, whisk them away. We don't know very many where they are. The likes of John Bosco Chibalama up to now. It is now more than 2 years. He was kidnapped from his home, and up to now we don't know. Some say he was murdered, because this is a heartless regime that doesn't care about anyone's life. So that is the situation as for now. Yeah, just a few days ago, actually, our president Kyagulanyi Ssentamu Robert came up with a very special message to this brother. He said, "Nkloza konyo mwana mko." He continued and said, "I met the late David Bwanika aka Selector Davie in the same year I met Babi Kyagulanyi. He was adopted at the age of 9 by Babi's aunt, who lived in Zambia. When Babi came to Kampala in her senior 6 vacation, she lived with her auntie in Zambia, and therefore lived in the same house with her auntie's adopted son, her adopted cousin. When I met Bobby, it was this adopted brother-in-law of mine that would be the go between me and Bobby throughout all our younger courtship. David and I became so close that following my footsteps, he also went into music and became a successful DJ and sound engineer. He also became so outspoken about issues of his country, Uganda, and was very instrumental in our campaign. He was our sound engineer on the campaign trail. Like hundreds of my close working associates, David's home in Magere was raided by soldiers on the night 12th of January. They beat him so bad before they bundled him in a drone van they came with and took him away. It is 2 weeks now and we all don't know where he is. Efforts to search for him have all been futile. We suspect that, like many comrades who have been abducted by soldiers, he must be languishing in some torture chamber or safe house somewhere, or even murdered. I pray that you are still alive, my brother. Wherever you are, we are with you. You are in our hearts and prayers. It is always darkest before the sun rises. God is with us. Tetulina musango. Free political prisoners. That was the special message Kyagulanyi Ssentamu posted on his Facebook page on the 23rd of January. Yeah, but the good news, of course, he anticipated rightly. Our brother was held in Machinde military barracks. Actually, we don't know whether he was in Machinde military barracks, but that's where he was gotten from, as in, and then paraded before court, and then released on bail. On what charges? You even wonder which kind of charges, because realistically, when you go to arrest someone, you don't go with a numberless car. You don't go wearing plain clothes, putting on guns. You don't need to fire bullets in the air and beat up someone you found at their home. They have done nothing. It's not like you've caught them in action, stealing maybe a phone, maybe doing anything illegal. Even if it's the case, that's not the way to arrest people, beating them up, firing live bullets. Because the neighbors who were there when they were arresting our brother, they're saying they had to fire live bullets in the air and then beat him so much before they bundled him in their numberless drone car, and then they whisked him away to an unknown destination. So very many of our comrades are being kidnapped, especially those that were on the campaign trail, broadcasting live news and all that kind of thing. They are living in fear, and please kindly don't be mad at some of our comrades when they are silent at this time, especially those that were, very vocal during then. The state is seriously searching for each and everyone. I can say to you that. So the good news, our brother is alive and has been released. However much, very many we don't know actually where they are. Like on the 24th, the president also came to know that Kajimu Wumal Jim, a very committed comrade like any young other Ugandan looking for survival in our harsh economy. Bobiwine said Kajimu has worked in the printing business for some years. He has been printing people power and NUP materials, including posters and flyers. On Thursday, that was the other week, armed men moving in a minibus, bracket drone vehicle with sealed private number plates raided his working place at Nasa Road. They suspected him of having some of our declaration forms. They violently arrested him. His family says he is being held at Mbuya military barracks. Kajimu becomes the 50th person targeted by the regime for declaration forms. To date, over 8,000 copies have been confiscated by security operatives from leaders and agents. Having lost the election resoundingly, Museveni is trying to kill all the evidence, but the evidence is all over. Kajimu is one of the thousands of young people languishing in military jails and other prisons simply for working for good governance. Hang in there, comrades. Freedom is in sight. Meanwhile, we continue to gather evidence of vote rigging, ballot stuffing, violence of security operatives, alteration of declaration forms, etc. Please forward all forms of video or pictorial evidence via WhatsApp number +2256 701 458299. We are removing a dictator. So that is another comrade whom we don't know where he is. That was a statement from Kyagulanyi Ssentamu Robert on the 24th. So when we say that there is a silent genocide going on, guys, we are not making statements out of or for fun, man. These are facts that need to be investigated. Unfortunately, when you report a case to the police, they're not going to help you. You already see them making these statements all over, calling a drone a star, and then you wonder which kind of spokesperson Enanga is. So no one is going to help you at the police station. That's why we need the court of common Ugandans, not these high courts, not these Museveni courts. We need to change this country back to the right path. This kind of situation, kidnap, torture, detaining citizens in the military barracks is not going to come to an end unless the dictator falls. That's the only solution to all this kind of situation. That's the only solution, because there are always solutions, very many of them, but the best solution to this kind of situation is none other than putting an end to Museveni dictatorship. That's all. That's the only solution we have, and I'm sure you agree with me on that. That's the only solution to that, and whatever we do to effect that, let us just triple our efforts, because there is no situation that is permanent. Yeah, change is a fact of life. Only that, be part of that change. So that's what I had for you today. Our brother is back home, though he's not in good conditions. He was released on bail in a very worrying, healthy condition. But of course, we continue to pray and support him in any way, because now, like at such a time, it is too sad. Just look at the brother. That is Selector Davie, Bwani Kalule David. Ekirungi akomyewe waka, kyekisinga obukulu ate nga mulamu. So of course kumutwala mu ddwaliro nabisigadde byonna nga bino kolebwa ajja kuba bulungi. So guys, that's what I had for you today. Let's continue demanding for the immediate release of our comrades. Very many are still languishing in military barracks, in torture chambers. Some we don't know where they are. It is sad, but let's continue. Let's not give up. Of course, we are a generation that doesn't give up, that, until it achieves the best that it needs. And at this particular time, all we need is that non-fictional socio-economic and political change, that unless we achieve it, we are not going to relent. So guys, peace and love.